Hello, my name is Heather Hillman, and this is my digital story entitled New Kid in the Halls, which shows how a horrific first day of school can turn out to be a very valuable experience. When I graduated from elementary school, I was on top. I had lots of friends, some of which are shown in this collage, had graduated with great grades, and had earned the respect of all of my teachers. I was the big fish in the big pond. That all changed with middle school. Thanks to some very funky district lines, I was being sent to Chippewa Middle School, featured in this photograph, which was located on the other side of town. Not a single one of my friends was going to be there. I suddenly found myself playing the role of the new kid. I was extremely nervous to start school. Not only was I going to a new place where I knew practically no one, I was no longer the big fish in a big pond, but a very, very small fish in an even bigger pond. Being the oldest, no one in my family had a clue what middle school was going to be like. Still, this picture shows me on my first day of school, excited and optimistic. I had no idea what was actually coming. After my mom dropped me off, I successfully found and opened my locker and navigated the crowded hallways to my first two classes. People seemed nice. There was lots of potential. I thought to myself, this isn't so bad. And then art class came. Like I said before, my family and I had no idea what the proper middle school gear was. In elementary school, everyone needed an art box. So when my schedule showed I had art, me and my mom went and got me a brand new purple art box, stacked full with all new supplies. I proudly placed it on my desk in art class, only to find that our drawers were not nearly big enough to hold it. Concerned, I raised my hand at the beginning of class and asked the teacher where we should put our art boxes. The class burst out into laughter and snickers, and it was only then that I realized no one else had an art box. My teacher kindly explained that she supplied the needed materials, but the damage was done and I was mortified. Things got even worse at lunch. I knew that where I sat that day was crucial, and therefore I stood at the front of the lunchroom, purple lunchbox in hand, scanning the room for a group of girls that looked normal and nice. I finally decided on a table with an open spot and timidly asked a girl with blonde hair if I could sit there. She slowly turned around, took one look at me, and very simply said, "No," and turned back to her lunch. It was my worst nightmare came true. My palms started to sweat, my stomach did flip-flops. I could not believe what had just happened. By this time, almost everyone had their seats, so when I spotted a girl I had once done Girl Scouts with, I dashed over to her and sat down with my lunch, trying to hold back tears. Needless to say, the tears flowed like a river the minute I got home. I sobbed to my mom, recounting the worst first day of school ever, insisting that I would never make any friends and simply couldn't go back. But my mom promised things would get better, and with her encouragement, I went back the next day ready for round 2, praying things actually would go better. Things did go better. In gym class that day, I met a girl named Kirsten, shown with me in this photograph. We had the same lunch and sat together that day, nowhere near the mean blonde girl who had turned me away. Kirsten introduced me to other people, who introduced me to other people, and slowly but surely, I left the role of the new kid and simply belonged. By 8th grade graduation, shown in this picture, I had had a wonderful middle school experience filled with good grades, sports, and clubs. I also made lifelong friends. In fact, it is now 6 years later and I'm still friends with 2 of the girls in this picture. I never thought I would say it, but looking back, I am so glad I had a bad first day of school. I learned from that experience that even though things are hard at first and seem impossible, it is important to stick with it and never give up. In the end, everything works out for the best. In addition to that, I learned skills like how to make new friends and how to adjust to new people. which has been incredibly valuable in my life, especially when I came to college. While I wouldn't want to go through it again, being the new kid in 6th grade is also something I would never change.